I didn't like it, Zowcat. I did not like the fourth Evangelion Rebuild film at all, for so many reasons. Alright, bring it in. Can you go over it now? No, I don't want to spoil it for people. Also, it's such a weird fucking movie that if you haven't seen it, my arguments are going to be completely incomprehensible. Yeah, either reeled. Where can I watch it? On, like, Amazon Prime, I think. Alright, hold on. How'd you feel about the other rebuilds? They just got progressively worse with time. The first Rebuild movie was good because it was literally just like the first 6 episodes of the TV show, except in a new, in fucking full widescreen and, or full screen, what, in modern resolution, and better fidelity. The second one, was pretty good, but, like, got worse with time. The third one sucked, and the fourth one sucked hard. Those are my opinions. End of Evangelion is a masterpiece. Anyway, the fourth End of Evangelion... Not End of Evangelion. The fourth Evangelion Rebuild fucking sucked for so many fucking trillions of reasons. First of all, one of the things that always made Evangelion really interesting is that the setting felt incredibly grounded, and there were little bits of, like, magical realism sprinkled over it that weren't explained super thoroughly because it never felt like it would have made sense for them to explain it super thoroughly in canon, you know? There are little bits of information that get dropped from time to time that make it clear that authority figures in that world know way the fuck more than you ever will, and that's just how the world is, okay? But they were sparing with the information that they delivered in that way. If you actually watch the entire original Neon Genesis Evangelion plus End of Evangelion, there were really only a couple of things that are left deliberately mysterious. A lot of it is just info dropped piecemeal, or you have to pick up on context clues. The rebuild is bullshit. The Evangelion Rebuild just throws random fucking shit at you all the time, constantly. All new terms. Oh, fucking 18th impact? Oh yeah, dude. Enter the fucking whirlpool of Enkai Ridian to enter the Nega universe that you use to activate the key to the fourth lock of Satan's temple. And you can... There's so much shit, so much obvious technobabble that they throw into the fucking rebuilds. And it's never contextualized, and it misses the point of the original fucking shit, okay? It's not magical realism when you're just making shit up on the fly. It's only magical realism when it feels like you've, like, well incorporated that stuff in, okay? Or to put it in another way, guys, if you fucking guys have seen, the Evangelion Rebuilds, you remember how the original show was, right? Neon Genesis Evangelion? Remember how the world felt pretty real? Like, Tokyo 2 was a fortress city, sure, but it's implied that the United Nations is pouring literally, like, hundreds of billions of dollars into funding Tokyo 2 as humanity's last, like, fortress against the angels. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it's like, super fantastical how fucking massive Tokyo 2 is and how well it's built, but all of it feels pretty realistic. Tokyo 2 is like a city that's inhabitable, sure, but it also has, like, gun cannons and turrets and shit. But, like, it all feels like it could be done realistically, you know? Does that make sense? It felt like a real city. It felt like a city with some technology we don't have access to, with an unimaginable amount of money put into making it, like, defendable against the angels. But apart from that, it felt like a city. Now, guys, for those of you who have watched fucking Evangelion Rebuild 3 or 4, did that feel like a real fucking place to you? Did that after the third, fourth, or whatever the fuck impact, did that feel like a real place? Everything instantly felt like some kind of gibberish sci-fi CGI world where nothing had to make sense or justify anything. Like, apparently there are villages out there that are surviving because Misato and, like, fucking Will have been like dropping inhibitors around them. Here's the question: how did they develop all this technology exactly? Because in Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's very clear where all this technology came from. All of it is justified in universe. All of it is explained in universe, you know? And it's very clear that all the cool sci-fi shit they build is the product of like tens of thousands of engineers working constantly with near unlimited funding. Now, after the world ends, how exactly do they sustain the construction of these new hypothetical devices within only 15 years? This game isn't realistic, it's ruining my immersion. Vaush 1, shut the fuck up. I'm the real Vaush. This isn't about being realistic, it's about adhering to the tone of the world that's been set up so far. You had a grounded, realistic story that had magical fantasy elements sprinkled over it in ways that were interesting and engaging, and then they ruined it by making everything just completely meaningless sci-fi babble. Okay? If you don't agree with me, or if you haven't watched it, I don't fucking care, okay? I'm right. Also, there were some serious tonal issues. Massive fucking tonal issues, okay? First of all, Mari is bullshit, alright? Why the fuck does Mari end up where she does at the end, okay? Why them, okay? That's not established or set up. Fuck you, okay? That's one. For two, all the shit with Ray's identity, with like, what is thank you? What is I'm sorry? How do you poo? Like, fuck that, okay? It's boring as shit. One of the things that made Rey a really cool character in the original Neon Genesis Evangelion is that she was socially stunted, but she was socially stunted in a way that didn't indicate she cared what other people felt about her, okay? Rey was interesting because she was autistic as fuck and she didn't give a fuck. She would sit in class or not even show up. She would read books and not talk to other people. She wouldn't interact or make others feel comfortable when they were in her presence. No matter how awkward she seemed to be, that was her shit. Her bedroom was literally nothing but like medical gauze and like medicine, and that's it. And that's what she wanted. That was all, okay? She was a very underdeveloped person in a number of ways, and that made her growth interesting. But then, for some fucking reason, they decided that in the rebuild, they had to fucking mind reset her and give her an entirely different personality, where her only driving trait is to be, like, interested in Shinji. And then they literally say that the Rey clones have a biological predisposition to being interested in Shinji. Doesn't that fucking ruin the original show? Wasn't the point of the original show that Rey was essentially being groomed by Gendo, and Shinji, by being a genuinely nicer person, moved her away from him, so that when they initiated Third Impact, Rey betrayed Gendo and ended up siding with Shinji? Like, right? They ruined it, and then they're like, no, actually, Rey just had a biological predisposition to like Shinji to begin with. What? It's a different universe from the original. They don't establish that sufficiently. They don't establish that sufficiently. If they would indicate that there was some difference between this universe and that one, that they would need to indicate it. Because otherwise, it seems like they're post hoc, like, justifying some shit, you know? Some weird fucking shit. Wait, they say that outright? Do they specifically say that, like, this universe... Wait, how? They don't acknowledge the fact that the time loop passed. Everything loops? No, that doesn't mean everything can be different. That doesn't mean that things that are different in this one don't imply things about the original. Wait, that was part of the plot of the original? They implied Rey liked Shinji because Rey was made from Shinji's mom's DNA? No, Rey may have been made from Shinji's mom, but they never indicated that meant that she had some kind of disposition to like him no matter what. It was more like there was some kind of affinity that was built there. But there was never any indication that Rey was gravitating towards Shinji. At no point in the original show or in End of Evangelion does Rey have an unjustified affinity for Shinji. At no point, none whatsoever. Every time Rey acted kindly towards Shinji, it was because he earned it by being kinder than Gendo. It was because he showed her that she wasn't just some meat machine meant to facilitate the fucking human instrumentality project. But in the rebuild, Rey is just like slavishly dedicated. I don't have a problem with Asuka being like weirdly committed to Shinji because Asuka's insecure, but Rey is not insecure. That's the point. Rey doesn't have those feelings because she's emotionally stunted. If Asuka wants to do the thing where she's like cooking for Shinji because she wants to impress him or whatever, I think that's fine, okay? I think that's totally fine because Asuka is a fucking mess, all right? fine, okay? But it makes no sense for Rey to be doing that without some kind of external prompting different from the stuff that we were shown in the original show. And aside all of that, what was the point of Rey's character development if she was going to die midway through? Fuck you if you don't care about spoilers. If she was gonna die midway through and nothing ever came of it. What was the fucking point? The only time you see her again is when she's like some sort of long-haired angelic being in the fucking infinite reverse universe bullshit future paradox motherfucking asshole that they threw out at the end. What was the point of establishing so much character growth on her part? Not everything is a point, Vaush. Fuck you. Here are the other 73 things that I hated about it. Stop making fight sequences where Evangelions, for the fucking Eva units, are floating in space, spinning around. They did that like 17 times with Mari's mech. Fucking why? 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 All the original mech fights in the original show were really cool and interesting because you have these borderline bestial fucking mechas being piloted by children, and every time one of them swings an arm, $500 billion of military equipment explodes somewhere next to them, okay? That's cool. That's sick. That's awesome, okay? But then for some reason in the rebuild, all the fights are like CGI mechas spinning around in the air, shooting guns meaninglessly at an infinite CG-generated swarm of enemies that pose no threat to them. It's so fucking bullshit, dude. The original ones were so, like, tactile and physical and grounded. But then in the rebuilds, everything just looks like some sort of stupid fucking screensaver. Fuck that. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. Anyway, it all looked so bad. Nothing meant anything. It was poorly established. And what is with the character designs, dude? Why the fuck did they take back the excellent fucking aesthetic design that they had for all the cool shit in Evangelion? What was that pink-haired bitch on the ship? What was her name? The pink-haired woman on the ship. What was her name? What was her name? Chat. What was her name? What was her name? Nobody knows. Right. Nobody fucking cares. Why did she have pink hair? Why did she look like that? Why in a universe like this, why the fuck did they just suddenly make a character look like this? This is not a fucking Evangelion character. I'm sorry. Misato has purple hair, though. This chick looks nothing like Misato, okay? There is a significant difference in the character design here, okay? Misato looks like a character that came out of a 1990s anime. She has purple hair, but her design, look at this. Her design is very well grounded within the aesthetic sensibilities of the universe that she is built into. Misato looks like a consistent character. She works with the universe of the show. But then this does not look like an Evangelion character. This looks like a fucking Darling in the Franxx character, okay? There are other differences too. Like, for instance, the fucking, hold on. Eva, Rebuild, Villa, crew. I need to find the crew. Okay, there's something about the character designs in the rebuild where they abandoned the artistic sensibilities of the original and they adopted modern anime designs. I don't think there's anything wrong with this on its own, but it's incredibly jarring having character designs like this, like these characters, when put next to the original characters from Evangelion. Like, hold on. Nerve, Evangelion, staff. Just give me the staff. Like this, okay? This is what the staff looked like in the original show. Do you understand what I'm saying? This isn't just me like whining that things have changed. These characters still exist in the original show. You have characters that look like this, and then there are characters that look like this. That's very fucking weird, you know? You understand what I mean? There's a huge stylistic difference. Now, if they wanted to update the entire thing, change everyone's look, okay, I think that's acceptable. But the first two movies of the rebuilds have this artistic style. This is what they look like. They don't look like the other characters. This shot right here is from the rebuild. I think this shot is great because you can see that the way in which this is drawn is done with modern technology. This is done digitally. You can tell from the line work. I don't want to get into the details, but you can tell between this drawing of Misato, which is from the original show, and this, which is from the rebuild, there's a difference in the art style, but it's consistent with the character, and I think it looks fine. But it looks really... And then you fucking... This girl, I don't know, dude. It honestly just looks like so much time passed between the differences, like, between the movies, that they just didn't have consistent... Yeah, they make... Yeah, never mind. Also, time for me to drop the truest take yet, okay? The truest take yet. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Okay. Somehow, the fourth Evangelion Rebuild movie, of all of the Eva shit thus far, was the most pedo shit. What the fuck is up with that? Ano, you're like 1,000 years old now. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Holy shit. We're gonna wait here. Yeah, Asuka was nude for like a fourth of the movie. I think that's not actually an exaggeration. I literally think that if you take a look at her screen time on the movie, you might actually have about 1/4 of the total time that she was on screen, which was a significant portion of time, by the way, as one of the main characters, with her being naked. That's not a joke, okay? But she's like 28. Oh, that's the thing that I love about the third Evangelion Rebuild, right? 14 years pass, Shinji's basically been in stasis. He wakes up and sees Asuka, and Asuka still looks exactly the same, except she's wearing an eye patch and has a different outfit. And Shinji's like, you look the same. And Asuka's like, yeah, it's the curse of the Evangelion pilot. And then she turns around so you can see her ass jiggle in her skin-tight Evangelion fucking plug suit. Fuck me, dude. Fuck me. Dude, if you wanted to make it so they stay the same age visually so you don't have to update the character designs for beloved decades-old characters, that's fine. But holy fuck does that decision become suspect when you then spend the remainder of the two movies sexualizing them more than you ever got in the original show. Holy shit. I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't want people to uncharitably interpret me, but most of what was considered fan service in the original show served an artistic purpose. Does that mean it was always good? No. Does that mean that it was always defensible? No. But I think you could very clearly look at a lot of the stuff being done there and think, okay, there was an artistic intent behind this. In the fourth Rebuild movie, this is not a joke, by the way. In the fourth Evangelion Rebuild, there is a scene where Asuka and fucking, what's the other girl's name? The one literally nobody cares about? No, not Rei. People care about Rei. Mari, thank you. Mari, yeah, okay. There is literally a scene where Asuka and Mari are moving between two fucking ships, I think, and they're in an airlock, so there's no gravity, and it's actually a highly rendered 30 frames per second animation of them moving from airlock to airlock in their plug suits, with every single shot focusing on their tits and ass and crotch. Every single one. I'm not joking, about 1 minute, about 60 seconds of silent camera panning over these 14-year-old bodied girls moving in 0G from one place to another. There's no dialogue going on. There's no music. There's nothing happening in the background. There's nothing that's being waited for. There's no tension that's being passed. No suspense that's being built. It is a scene exclusively built, and with no exaggeration, just to fondle over the bodies of the 14-year-old bodied girls. That is a level of gratuity and disgusting pedo fan service bait that was not present in the original shit. It was not. The original show and End of Evangelion did not have shit like that. Not even remotely close. That shit is fucking disgusting, and it actually makes me, like, really disrespect Anno in retrospect that his brain would end up at this point. Like, you can make a masterpiece like End of Evangelion, but if this is where you're at in 2021, like, that to me is, like, that's insane, you know? I have no fucking idea. It's so fucking wild. I'm only describing one of maybe dozens of fan service scenes, but that one was by far the most gratuitous because you can't even artistically defend it in any way. Like, if you have a scene where Asuka's like naked in front of Shinji and Asuka like doesn't care, at least there's a purpose to the scene, and the purpose is to indicate that Asuka doesn't care about her nudity, which indicates that she's not shameful or whatever. That's still not a justification, but at least you can throw something out there. That 1 minute long airlock scene was nothing. It was just exclusively fan service of 14-year-old bodied girls. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done. That's it. We did our rant. By the way, I'm not even close to being finished with problems with it, okay? There are narrative problems. There's the fact that they dedicated like 10 minutes to learning Gendo's backstory when we already knew everything and it did nothing and it added nothing. There's the fact that there's the wasted potential, the fact that if they're going to end things differently, they could have done it in ways that are more interesting than just, we did 6 more rebuilds and impacts, and this time we're going to end the Eva or something. There are a million things that I could critique about it. I could spend the rest of the stream critiquing it. I could go late. I could eat food here and then continue into the night. I could do a 24-hour fundraiser stream. I could, if you gave me enough time, find a list of problems with it and read it out loud and have the total duration of that list be longer than the 2.5 hour long 4th rebuild movie, okay? But alas, I will not. It is just bad, and you shouldn't buy it.